Erev Tov, Rabotai. So I want to talk to you now about how do we do Hanukkah on Shabbat. Erev Shabbat, Motzi Shabbat, how do we do all these things, right? All these mitzvot. So the interesting thing is like this, as we already discussed this, we talked about this already a few times, there's different opinions about when the night comes. So there's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, as we said, right? Which is what? That the night comes one and a quarter hour before Tzit Kochavim. So 1 hour before Shkia, approximately. That's why Erev Shabbat, when do we light Hanukkah candles? We cannot light after Shkia. It's already Shabbat, Asur. Right? So that's why the rabbis told us, the Chazal, that you have to light after Plaga Mincha, right? After the time of Rabbi Yehuda. You can light already Hanukkah candles. Even though it's not night yet, it's still daytime. But when there's no choice, right, that's what we do. We light early, right? And by the way, you learn from there one thing, that if a person has no choice, he has to sometimes light early the Hanukkah candles after Plaga Mincha. So he can do that, If there's no other way to do it, he can do. Just like we do Erev Shabbat. So what's the minhag? The minhag is that before we come to the synagogue, right, before we come to shul, what we do is we light first Hanukkah candles, right, about half hour, let's say, before Shkia, and then we light Shabbat candles after, right? First Hanukkah candles, then Shabbat candles. That's how we do, Half hour before Shkia, we do Hanukkah. And then, 20 minutes before Shkia, we do Shabbat candles. This way everything is good, right? You come in, because otherwise, right, what are you going to do? Light Hanukkah candles on Shabbat? You cannot do that. That's true, right? So you got to do early. There's no other choice. And also, we make bracha. But the thing is, when you light early like this, you have to make sure you put a little bit extra oil in the candle. You know why? Because it has to last until it gets dark, and then another half hour after that. So you have to put a little bit extra oil. It should last like the oil at least two hours, because otherwise it'll go out before the night comes, and you won't be able to say dechovah like this, for the night. So that's why, you have to put a little bit extra there. Okay, good to know that, right? That's how we do Erev Shabbat. By the way, there's also Mechina.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How early can you light the candle in the last day?
The last day. Last day is like any other day. It's the same, what's the difference?
Maybe in the morning?
Why? What do you mean in the morning?
It's going to be night of the New Year.
What, the secular New Year?
Yeah.
So what do you care about that?
Well, if somebody leaving, let's say, somewhere, he will be home at night.
He's going somewhere.
Right. Can he do it in the morning?
What, he's going on vacation? What, you said, going? So he should do over there, wherever he goes, do it over there.
I gotta take my candles with me.
Too heavy? Too heavy for you? It's no big deal, Right? You put it in your duffel bag, right? Your suitcase, wherever you're going. There's not going to be anybody home, right? Nobody home. Here. If there's somebody home, they can light for you, as we said. That's one thing you can do, They can light for you. And you're good. But if there's nobody home, the house is empty, so then you take your candles over there, and you light over there wherever you are. But the thing is, a person has to remember one thing. Let me ask you a question. Can you light Hanukkah candles in the street? Let's say you're just in the street somewhere, Can you light in the street? Like Chabad, They light Chabad in the street, right? Only for Chabad. Okay, right? That's a different religion. What, different religion? What is that? Only for Chabad. Right? So what they do, Chabad, they're not doing it for the mitzvah. They're doing it for, to make, communal, Pirsum Nisa. It's a nice thing, but you cannot do the mitzvah like this, in the street. You know why? Because Hanukkah candles, it requires bite. You have to be in a bite, Or your bite, or somebody else's bite, or the hotel, or, or the Bet Knesset is also a bite, right? Bet Knesset is bite. So here you can do, but outside, the Chazal said, you cannot light Hanukkah candles outside. So you have to be in a house, somewhere, indoors. So when you go, right, wherever you're staying over there, you light over there, right? Depends on who's there, right? If there's a person there, he'll do it for you, you will be bishtatef, you'll combine with him. He'll give it to you as a gift. That's the way you do it. So that's the way it's done, You have to do it at the right time. You cannot do it in the morning. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Okay, so that's, right, yeah.
When they light in the candle, who they doing for?
Where they light it?
In a city, they do it all the time.
What, in Rockefeller Center? Where they do it?
No, how about lights over there?
Right. So this is for for community, Keilah. It's not for a mitzvah. You know what I mean? To make people aware of it. It's nice. It's a good thing. To be presuming nisa, but that's not the real mitzvah. The real mitzvah is to do it babait. Each right. You have to do in the house. That's the real thing. So you have to understand, right? You cannot light Hanukkah candles in the street. Asur. Okay. So we're talking about Shabbat, right? So Erev Shabbat, as we said, right? First Hanukkah candles, then Nerot Shabbat, right? Shabbat candles, and you come to the synagogue, right, to pray. By the way, some people, what they do, there's custom by some people. They on Hanukkah, Erev Shabbat, they do mincha early, like early mincha, and then they go to light the candles after. They go back home, light the candles. They do like mincha early, 1:30, 2 o'clock, Then they go back, they get ready for Shabbat, they come back for Arvit. Right, the Kabbalat Shabbat Arvit. That's what they do. It's not obligation to do this way, But some people have a custom like this. You know why? Because they say that it's good, to do first the mincha and then Nerot Chanukah. That's the way it should be, because it's more tadir, it's more frequent, But it's okay if we're not doing this way over here. No big deal. It's no big deal. But some keilot do this, It's like a chumrah. It's a minhag, like like the mitzvah min hamuvchar, something like that. Okay, it's all good, Baruch Hashem. Anyway, that's Erev Shabbat. Now, what about Motzi Shabbat? What do you do over there, right? When Shabbat goes out, you're on the Beit Knesset, right? What do you do first, Havdalah or Nerot Chanukah? Which one comes first, right? Huh? Chanukah. Chanukah. Two people Chanukah. Okay.
No, I said Hanukkah in the Knesset.
That's what I'm talking about the Knesset. What comes first? Chanukah, right? Emet, Rabbi. Yeah, first Chanukah and then Havdalah. That's how we do. Why? First you should do Havdalah, no? First do Havdalah, take out Shabbat, and then do Chanukah. Why do you do this way? For what? So
People in a rush.
yeah, that's he's saying right. You understand? What they say, the poskim is that if they do first Havdalah and then Chanukah, everybody's going to leave, and nobody's going to see the Chanukah. That's the problem, So they're keeping them here by, wait, we didn't do Havdalah yet. Wait, don't go home. Let's do first Hanukkah, and then we'll do Havdalah. This way everybody's going to see it. That's the thing, Otherwise everybody's going to go home. That's why we do it this way. But when you go home, Motzi Shabbat, over there, what do you do first? Havdalah or Hanukkah? First Havdalah, right? And then Hanukkah. Why? Because over there, there's no problem, right? Who's going to go home? Everybody's already home. That's it, right? So there's no problem. So over there, it's just the opposite, right? There is a machloket about this, by the way, in the poskim. But that's the way we do it, the minhag. By us, it's like this, In the Beit Knesset, first Hanukkah and then Havdalah. In home, first Havdalah and then Hanukkah. Yeah, just the opposite, right? Okay. I'll tell you a funny story, by the way. Interesting story that happened to me, When I was in Yerushalayim, I was over there, I was neighbors with Maran, So I used to go pray in the Beit Knesset with Maran. This was a very good Beit Knesset, the best in the world. So I used to go over there. And one time, we were there, Motzi Shabbat, and it wasn't yet Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam is 72 minutes after Shkiyah, Okay, in the winter, it's like 60 minutes. But we finished Arvit. Maran used to pray Arvit, 30 minutes after Shkiyah, Motzi Shabbat, 30 minutes. Almost the same like here, almost the same. Here we do 40 minutes. Maran used to do 30 minutes. So what happened? We finished Arvit, right? And there wasn't yet Rabbeinu Tam. So Maran was makpid, He didn't want to light Nerot before Rabbeinu Tam. Asur. Doraita, right. So what he told everybody? He said, it's not Rabbeinu Tam yet. We're not going to light the Hanukkah candles in the shul. Go light at home. That's what he told them. So people were surprised, Rabbi, what? You're not going to light it in the Beit Knesset? We have a minhag, like this, He told them, no, that's it. We're closing, close it. Go home. Told them. No Hanukkah in the Beit Knesset. So they told him, what's the big deal? Rely on the Geonim. Geonim say it's already, Shabbat is over. So why do you have to be so makpid like Rabbeinu Tam? So what he said to them? He told us like this, Mahan, with all his, shoulders, big shoulders. He said, the Rivash, says, and the Rosh also, they say, the Rabbeinu Tam was even bigger than the Rambam, in Torah. So it's, how can you be lenient, against Rabbeinu Tam? He said. That's what he told us, right? So he was very makpid, So he told us, that's it, go home. No Nerot Chanukah. So that's the thing, that a person should be careful, really. You learn from there that Maran refused to light Nerot Chanukah before Rabbeinu Tam. So the thing is that on Motzi Shabbat, a person, should not light Nerot Chanukah before Rabbeinu Tam. If he's makpid about this, Some people are okay, whatever, but people who are makpid, wait for Rabbeinu Tam. What time is Rabbeinu Tam over here in the winter? Right over here, about 5:30, About 5:30. Because Shkia is 4:30. 5:30 is Rabbeinu Tam. That's it. In the winter, Shalosh Maniot, right? So you can at 5:30 you can light already Hanukkah candles. But before that, according to Maran, he was very makpid about this. You should not light. Moshe Feinstein, as I said, also was makpid. So that's what we do. Erev Shabbat, Motzi Shabbat. That's how we do Hanukkah, right? That's the proper way to do everything. Okay, very good. I want to tell you a couple more things. We'll start the Arvit, B'ezrat Hashem. We were talking yesterday, right, about that minhag is to eat sufganiyot, donuts on Hanukkah, right? And we said the reason is because of the oil. So there's also another custom, minhag like this. The Ashkenazim, they eat latkes, right? Right? So it's good stuff. It's good. It's good. So why latkes? Also, they fry it in oil. Same thing. Understand? Same idea as the sufganiyot, So there are some different minhagim, Latka, sufganiyot, it's all good, Baruch Hashem. It's all the same reason. There's also another minhag, to eat chalavi, on Hanukkah, right? Dairy, What does that mean? Cheese, gvina, right? Things like this, What's the reason why we have this minhag to eat gvina on dairy, on Hanukkah? So you know what the reason is, right? There's a story behind this. To remember the nest that was made, right? You remember the story, right? So what happened, right? This Yehudit, as you said, she was the daughter of the Kohen Gadol. Can you imagine? Big family, the very holy family. She was a daughter, and in those days, these Rashaim Arurim, these wicked people, these Yevanim, these Greeks, they used to have this rule they made that before a Jewish girl gets married, to some guy, she has to go first to the governor, to the first night, to be with this Greek, Rasha, Arel. Can you imagine? To be with him one night, and then, she goes and gets married. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing, right? Can you imagine? So that's what they did with her. That day, what happened was that she got married, Yehudit. She was getting married, and all of a sudden, before they take her to the chuppah, she was going, the chuppah is the right side, and so they didn't go to the right side. They said, no, we're going to the other way, left side. Left side? Where are you taking me? So he says, you're going to the governor. She's going to be with you first night, Right? Can you imagine such a thing as this? So when she heard about this, she was raging, with anger. She's, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? A governor? I'm going to be with a goy? Some Arel goy? Some Greek guy? This is what I'm going to do? So what happened was that when they took her, to his house, so she came over there, and she knew how to behave, She was a smart girl, Jewish girls are smart, You got to watch out. You have to do you have to know who you're dealing with. So what did she do? She told them, he said, you like me, huh? You think I'm a nice girl, huh? You want to be with me? So he says, you know what? Let's have a little, let's have a little milk, before. We'll drink some milk, So what happened was that she got him to, she heated up some milk, and had him drink it. So what happens is, when you drink hot milk, it makes you sleepy, And you're done, You go to sleep, That's what happens, right? She knew this. So she gave him hot milk, and he fell asleep, So what did he do? She took a knife, and cut off his head. So she cut off his head, mamash, kacha. Like a butcher, like a 108, the butcher's over there, cutting, like this. She cut his head. She took his head like this, with her hand, and came out on the mirpeset, on the balcony. And she says, you see, this is what you get, with these Rashaim, Arurim. She showed everybody the head of this governor. Can you imagine? She cut off his head like that. So because of this nest that was made, for us, during Hanukkah, this was the war started over here. This was the time that the war started. Once the Jews started to rebel like this, then it already was milchama. When you start doing things like this, you have to be ready, right? There's going to be war. You know what I mean? This is when it started, the whole nest, whatever. So because of that, she gave him milk, to drink. So that's why we have chalavi, to remember this nest. This is the reason why we do halavi on Hanukkah, you know. So we do, you know, all the good, you know, dairy stuff you like to have, you know, whatever. Right? This is the time now to break it out, right? Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen amen. Rabbi Chanan Hanuka shomer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לסוף ישראל, לפיכך הכי בא להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.